Okay, good morning, Spanish 2 and 3 students. Today we're going to do more of a review for the units that we've covered so far. Those are units 19 to 21. Let me go on to the next one. Here's the agenda. We're going to go over our calendar, our essential question for the week, and again, we're going to review those units with some of the questions that would show up on your midterm exam. Okay? So there's your calendar for week 5. Any questions about the calendar right now? Okay, we have our in-person session. We know that on Friday and Monday we have no school. So we have extra time to really work on, focus on this last unit, Unit 21. Okay? So that's why we're doing more of a review, because we're going to start Unit 22 till next week. And it wouldn't make sense to start so early. Okay? So here's our essential question for the week. It's from the Lifelong Learner assignment. So instead of doing the assignment, you're going to do the question. Okay. Those students who are here in person don't need to turn in the essential question response. They'll get automatic credit. But we should all be taking notes.
So do we have to do the Lifelong Learner assignment today?
I'm sorry?
Do we have to do the assignment today next to the Lifelong Learner? Or are you going to get credit for that too?
You're going to get credit for the response, yeah. So what are some resources that can be helpful in continuing to practice your Spanish language development? Okay. So it's all blended into one assignment. Your essential question response is your Lifelong Learner question here. So what are some resources that can be helpful in continuing to practice your Spanish language development? And those of you who were with me for Spanish 1, what were some of the examples that they provided? What are some of the resources that can help you learn Spanish?
Spanish movie.
Spanish movie, music. You can use a dictionary, that's fine too. You can also use the people that are around you. Maybe friends or family members that you might know that know Spanish, and you can practice that. So those are all resources that you can list. So I'm going to write some down. So you have videos, some of the lessons that you go over, people are resources, other curriculum that you can find as well. Okay, music, TV. All of those are different resources that you can use that is easily available now online for you to get that extra practice. Okay? So I'm going to go on to our Unit 19 and 21 review. So first we're going to start off talking about the difference between the future and the conditional tense. What is the future tense and what is the conditional tense? Can you guys remember? What's the future tense? I'm going to ask the students who are here in person and also illuminate. So what is that difference? What do you guys remember? So again, what is the future tense? And what is the conditional tense? This applies to English and Spanish. So if you should know it in English, you will know it in Spanish as well. So when do we use the future tense in English? When you're talking about what?
What will happen?
What will happen? Is that what you're going to say? Yeah, so we're using the will. Okay, what will happen in the future? What about the conditional tense? Conditional. Think if.
If something else will happen.
So future tense is more like, something will happen. And your conditional is something that would happen. Okay? So And the conditions have to be right for it to actually occur. Let's just take a look at the formation. So we have the future tense, okay, and again, it refers to what will happen, and those are the endings that you're going to use for when using regular verbs for future tense. So one example that I gave you was hablar. Okay, what's hablar? What does hablar mean? So one example here is hablar, to talk. Okay, so we would just add the endings that are here, right? Pues yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotras, vosotros, vosotros, vosotras, I'm sorry, ellos, ellas, ustedes. Okay, so it would be hablaré, hablarás, hablará, hablaremos, hablaréis, hablarán. Okay, so we're using the entire verb, okay, and then we're adding the proper ending. So you guys should have this as part of your notes. You should have this first chart that we worked on with the future tense. Okay. Then here is our conditional tense. So it refers to what would happen. Okay, and same thing. You're going to add the following endings to the infinitive form. So you're using the entire verb. For example, hablar again. Hablaría, hablarías, hablaría, hablaríamos. So I will talk is yo hablaré. I would talk is yo hablaría. Okay, so that's our difference here. So you guys should have this chart as well. We're going to do some practice now. So some midterm exam practice that you will see later on, of course. Okay, I do want to go over the future tense. I'm going to do it after we do this practice. So, okay, let's try practicing our Spanish writing. So I want us to focus on these first two sentences. So, I would live in Paris if I had the money. I will live in Paris when I have the money. So I want you guys to practice writing these down, at least the conjugation. Okay. So we're taking the verb. What's the verb live here in Spanish? What did you say? You're close. Not quite. What is the... Yeah. You're trying. What is the verb to live? Vivir. Muy bien. So you're taking the verb vivir. Okay? And that's what we're going to use. So make sure for the first one, would, what tense are we going to use for that one? The conditional or the future? Conditional. So that leaves us with what for this one? The future. Okay, so make sure you're using the conditional endings and then the future ending for this one. So work with the verb vivir. So let's try. So those of you who are here with me live through Illuminate, you have your whiteboard tools and you can participate and write down the equivalent to my English sentence that I have. So let's try. So how would we say I would live here in the first part? What's I in Spanish? We're talking about our pronoun. Él is he. Uh-oh, we need to review that. Yo. Yo, and then we have the verb vivir. What ending do we need? The or the ia? Okay. Yo viviré. Perdón. Yo viviría. Actually, for that one. Okay. So we use ia for the future tense. I'm sorry, for the conditional tense. Yo viviría en París. Okay, if is si. Si tuvieras. What is money in Spanish? Can we know? Money. Let's try again. Money. Look it up. So if you don't know something, look it up, and that's going to help us to remember. Gracias. Yo viviría en París si tuviera dinero. Okay, so now that we looked at the vocab for that one, it should be easier for the second one. So, we know that the ending for would, the conditional tense is ia. Okay, so how would we change it to the future tense? You had it in the first time. Yo viviré, acento en la E, en París, cuando tenga dinero. Okay, so see how both of these change depending on the tense that we are using here. So we're using, again, conditional in the first, and then future tense in the second. Make sure you write those down so that you have them in your notes. So you should have an accent right here in the I, ia, and then in the E. Mire. Okay, so there it is. So, yo viviría en París si tuviera dinero. Yo viviré en París cuando tenga dinero. Okay, so now let's focus on the verb will go. To go. What is that verb in Spanish? Okay, so what is the equivalent of to go? You guys remember that?
No.
We did practice for that. Ir. Okay. So again, the first one is actually what are we using? Future conditional. Okay. Well, it says future. Future. So let's do the future ending for that. So what's the ending for she? So we have ella. And look at your chart. Ella. Ir. So we're going to use the whole verb. Ir. And then look at your chart. What is she using with ella? And then the future.
Are we talking about
Yeah. Ella irá. Irá, muy bien. It's just that A. Ella irá contigo. You can't see it that well. You'll be able to see it better on the other side. So, ella irá contigo cuando tenga, what's the equivalent of time? You don't know it? Let's look it up. Ella irá. Yeah, I'm referring to those charts. Yeah, the ones that we did. This one was on, oh, this is past participle. And then we also did some charts with the future tense.
Oh, I remember that.
And conditions.
Can you read off the time of this family?
Yes. What's time? Hold on. Okay. Daniel is helping us here. So, tiempo. Muy bien. So, ella irá contigo cuando tenga tiempo. Gracias. Ah, I'm not spelling it right. Okay, so our next one would go, would be what? Ella.
Yeah.
It's really close to that first one. Iría contigo. And we have the if. Si tuviera tiempo. Okay, so let's see if we can get a better view of it. Yeah, there we go. Ella irá contigo cuando tenga tiempo. Ella iría contigo si tuviera tiempo. So you need to know your endings, okay? That will tell you if you're using future or conditional. Okay, so let's choose between A, B, C for this. She would give you money. You just finished doing this one, right? Yeah, so that, first of all, we need to find out if it's conditional or future. We have would, it's conditional, so then we look at our chart just to double check our response. So, and we have the ia, okay? Ia is the ending for that. So, it would be, ella te daría dinero. It would be C in this case, okay? Again, we need to look at whether it's conditional or future, and would is conditional, so you're going to look at that chart, okay? So C is the correct answer here. Dará, the A ending is future, okay? And that one, the first one, you would not be one of our choices. Okay. Let's take a look at this one. Conjuga el verbo entre paréntesis a la forma correcta del condicional. Okay, so we're conjugating the verb between parentheses with conditional. Okay, so we have ustedes no, and you're using the verb creer. Lo que pasó. Okay, so we're using creer and then we're using conditional. So what's the ending here? We're using ustedes. Remember in your chart, it's going to be that last thought. Okay, so this one is, I have conditional. Ustedes no. So what are we deciding on this one? What do you think it is? D. Daniel says it's D. You guys say D. That's correct. Okay, so you're using that last box in the chart. Creería. Okay. And the next one. So now we're talking about the participio pasado. That's past participle. Now you can take out your chart from last week and use that one. Nunca he correr tantos kilómetros. Okay, so this is past participle. This is from Unit 21, which we are working on now. So we have the two endings. We either have ido or ida, right? So what would be the correct one here? Yes, B. Nunca he corrido. Okay, and the correct one is B in this case because we are going to take off the ER, and we're either adding the ido or ida. And since it is an ER verb, we're adding the ido. ER, IR verbs is ido, AR verbs is ida. So just to review that, those were our three uses for past participles, okay? Describing an action that has happened. We can use it as a passive voice, and we can combine it with a stat to form an adjective. So this is a review from last time. And here are endings. So we have AR is ado and ido. Okay, so comer, comido. Ado. Hablar, hablado. Okay. So let's do a little bit of practice for the vocabulary we're supposed to know. Remember we went, you had a question?
No.
Okay.
No, what it is.
Okay. Remember we went over cognate, false cognate, so let's give this a try. So escoge el equivalente de la palabra entre paréntesis. So what do we have for this one? B. Asistir, attend. ¿Quieres? Attend a la clase de matemáticas. Asistir. Okay, that would be our correct one. So we want to look at those false cognates. Same type of question. Mi prima está embarazada. Is it A or B? What is the correct one here? So Daniel's saying A. Do we agree? Yes. It is not embarrassed. A, pregnant. Good. And this goes with nature. Okay. Ayer se cayó un tree sobre la calle. ¿Qué es el equivalente a tree? Tree es un árbol. Yes. Okay, you didn't see questions like these on your midterm exam, so I would definitely write down the type of questions that you will see. Okay, number 4. Esa cloud parece un pez. What is it saying, though? What's our correct response here? What's a cloud?
A line.
What's it? Like hello, is that what you said? In Spanish. How do you say cloud in Spanish? Sí, nube, muy bien. Sí, es nube. So you want to know your vocabulary for nature. Let's see what our student said. Yeah, sí, nube. That's correct. So that cloud looks like, what's a pez? Pez. Huh? Fish. A fish. Pez. Thank you. Okay. Let's do the fifth one here. ¿Sabes qué lago es el más grande? Lago. Es lo mismo que lake. Muy bien. Ujú. And then, okay. So what's next? You're going to submit your center question, response number 5 to assignment on Thursday, 2/17. I'm sorry, not Thursday. It shows up on your calendar on Tuesday, okay, 2/17. So if you go a little bit ahead, you can enter your response there. So again, it shows on Tuesday, 2/17, since we have no school on Friday and Monday. Okay, you'll see it there. And here's our essential question that you need to respond to. And any questions right now? Okay. Okay, thank you so much for attending.